Hey man, I need to get under the light here a little bit. Morning, folks. I got this runner waiting for some of you to come in here and join us. I'm sure you're looking at. I'm looking at the screen here, waiting for some people to pop in here with us. Giving you a little bit of a heads up. This is going to be one of the most amazing interviews that I've ever done. I ought to take my hat off so you can see my face. Actually, I'm just stalling for time now, waiting for the audience to build a little bit. Now, here's what we're at Hear the Watchman in where am I? I'm in New York City, Long Island, New York. It's been really, really powerful. Here's what I would like everybody to do. Okay, you're going to hear something that you're just not going to believe it. It's going to take us probably 15 or 20 minutes to do this. We're filming it on another camera as well. But I want to get this out on Facebook Live because I'm worried about censorship. I'm worried about censorship. You know, we put it on YouTube, they pull it down. You try to post it on Facebook, they pull it down. I want to get this out. I want to get it out. Because I'm going to sit down here in a minute with a doctor whose job, you ready for this? Her job is to catalog the baby parts after abortion. Remember they tell us it's just a blob of tissue, yada, 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 all those lies. She has an unbelievable story. And she's taken some risk to do this because she's currently employed. And of course, they don't want this information out. She came up to me yesterday after I was through speaking and said, man, I wanted to interrupt right in the middle of what you were talking about because I could verify so many things that you were talking about abortion. So here's what you need to do. Right now, share this video. I mean, I don't really know how to. Somewhere right there on your screen, you can share it to your page. And we want to get as many eyeballs on this thing as we possibly can. And I'm probably going to continue to repeat this. Gary's getting ready to get this set up, and the doc's just walked in over here. I'm not going to use her name just because she's not ashamed. She's not ashamed. But I said, listen, you just got to be careful with this stuff. So share right now. Share with on your face, however you do that thing. I'm not that tech savvy, all right? Go ahead and feed your kid. Do whatever you have to do. Give yourself 15 minutes to sit down and hear what you're going to hear. They are so lying to us about those precious little babies inside the womb. And so we're going to get ready to roll here, okay? She's going to slide in beside me, and we're going to get started. And I'm not going to call her by her name, although I know what her name is. And people looking at her will probably recognize her. She came up to me right after I was done speaking yesterday, and she says, oh, man, I wanted to jump up there because, boy, do I have something to say. Come on, slide on in here, Doc. I'll just call you Doc from right here.
Good to me.
She's a doc at a hospital you probably know the name of. We probably would all know the name of the hospital. True. She ain't no dummy, right? She's in her mid-30s, married, has a family. We're just gonna lay this here. Maybe we can all hear. I got another one.
Okay.
And her job, she came up to me afterwards. I'm going to shut up a minute. I'm going to let her talk. Hey, listen again. Please share this video. You can do it right now as this thing is. Share it with us. Tell them you have to watch it. We have a woman here, a doctor here, whose job is after the babies are aborted, her job is to pull those little baby parts out and measure the size of the feet and the legs and make sure the heart's there. And it ain't no blob of tissue. With me? Are we running here, Gary?
Yes. Rolling.
Okay, so I want to make this as quick as we can, but as long as we can, whatever we have to say. So I was done speaking yesterday, and the doc came walking up to me, and I didn't know whether she's a doc. She told me she was a pathologist, which, I mean, I know what pathology is. And then I realized, no, this just ain't some nurse who went to tech school. This is a girl who's in the most prestigious university. And tell your story.
So I'm a resident physician. Where do I look here?
Either one. We got two of them going. So.
Okay. I've been a doctor for a few years, and in medical school, when you're choosing your specialty, after you graduate medical school and you have your MD, you have to go get specific training, specialized training in a field. So my field was pathology. I thought I would be receiving cancer specimens and looking at them under the microscope, it is my main job. I diagnose cancer. But what I didn't realize, and what they don't really tell you in medical school, is that all the abortion specimens come to pathology.
The specimen is a body.
Yeah, it's a body. It's a baby in a bucket. It's a depending on the age of the baby and if there is a malformation or genetic mutation, an anomaly, they will perform the abortion differently. Like if they want, most of the time it's just they go in there and you receive a baby floating in its own blood in pieces, just little body parts in pieces.
And you have to pull those out and piece them together.
We have a colander, we have a strainer that we use over the drain, and you dump the parts out, and then so the blood goes down the drain, and then you pick with your forceps, you pick the body parts out, and you look for the foot size, you look to see if you can identify the sex. And the foot size is because it measures the week of development.
So hang on, folks. She was an atheist.
Oh yeah.
She was an atheist when this is what a story this is. So she's a doc. She's doing this pathology, and they're bringing in these little buckets of babies, and she's doing this, and she's an atheist. Yet something's going on in your heart.
Well, I always knew. My husband was a Christian. I was an atheist for 20 years. And when he married me, he knew the saving grace in me was that before I ever had to see a specimen, before I knew that I would have to deal with this horror, I knew that abortion was murder. I was like, oh no, hearing pro-choice, that's a euphemism. Anytime you use a euphemism, it's and you're trying to cover something up. Like
you don't call abortion, you call it choice, because you don't want to call it abortion.
Yeah, you don't want to call it murder. You don't want to call it pro-death. But in medical school, I mean, they walk us through embryogenesis. You know that the basics of it, from 4 to 8 weeks, you have organ development. So all the internal organs are being prepared. By 8 weeks, you have a heartbeat, and then you call it a fetus after that. But you have a little baby, even at 8 weeks. Sometimes you don't. It's too ripped up to see it, but sometimes you do. In the jar that it comes in, you can see the little baby. And then once you get, 12 weeks, 14 weeks,
it's a baby doll.
It's totally, yeah, it's not a bluff, and we know that. Physicians
so here you
know that.
are, you're an atheist, you don't really believe in right and wrong, it's kind of an opinion, right?
Well,
you're a moral person.
I'm horrified by the I could consciously say, no, they're killing babies. But I wasn't going to fight it. It wasn't something that really I thought about a lot. But I was a new mom too. I'd given birth to a baby as a fourth-year medical student, and I wasn't really ready to have a child. It was a surprise for us that we got pregnant. And the first night, I was like, "What are we gonna do? How am I supposed to get through medical school? How am I supposed to do this and have a job and raise a baby?" And but then immediately, that was one night that I thought that it was 2 a.m. that I took the pregnancy test, and then the next, after that, immediately, super excited. Just my son, he's wonderful. It's so wonderful to have and experience this.
And then they're bringing in these little babies in buckets.
Oh yeah, so I've got a 6-month baby at home. I get this baby in a bucket, and I just, what the? You want me to do what? So
the doctors know that's a baby. They know that thing's alive.
Anyone that's performing an abortion knows it because they see it. They see in the ultrasound, they see the arms, and they saw it off, and they put it in the bucket. They see. Sometimes, if they want to preserve the body and not rip it up, they will inject. It's potassium. What is it?
Whatever.
Yeah.
Folks, listen, right now, if you're watching this on YouTube or on Facebook, share this video right now. You can hit a little button down there, share it, so everybody in your feed's seeing this. I'm sorry, but I want a lot of people to hear this, all right?
They'll do it in the back of the head. So, and that's to preserve, like the one case I had where the baby had meningomyelocele. It's like spina bifida, but it's really bad. It's where the spinal cord and the meninges actually stick out there. So if they want to preserve the body so that you can look at the pathology, they'll inject in the back of the head, and then you have a full-formed fetus.
But they're killing these babies, not because they're sick.
No. Oh, yeah, that's the. They call, so the terminology we use, this is how sick our society has gotten. And everyone else, all my other co-residents, they see nothing wrong with it. They are still heavily pro-choice. They deal with it. And the cognitive dissonance, that's a baby. You're picking up baby parts. One of them darkly calls them baby puzzles as part of their job. And it's just, they still go out to the marches. But here I am, a brand new mom, knowing it's murder, knowing I'm
not a believer.
Oh yeah, I was an atheist. I had to pick. They had their little fists are clenched and their little faces are ripped up and they have look of pain on their face and their little bodies and their little lives and their little eyeballs are floating. And this is a job? You expect me to do this? And they didn't even tell me I'd have to do it. And I only have to do it for one more year. And I only do it for like 4 to 6 weeks out of the year. But I would sit there and I would look at them. I would hold these little babies. And I would tell them I'm so sorry. I love you. This world, somebody in this world loves you. And then I would start praying for him. I would give him a little funeral.
Not even a believer.
And I just would pray for our world. What are we doing in our world? How can we let this happen? How can this be okay? How can my colleagues go out and see this and then celebrate it and go to marches with their hats on, their pink hats, and I was the only one who cared. And then you have to, after you measure them, sometimes, that's the other thing. So you have medical terminations that's what they'll call them. They'll call them, this is when they have like spina bifida or they have a chromosomal anomaly.
So something's wrong.
Something's wrong where the parents have terminated. Those are medical terminations. But if they're elective terminations, which, they're all elective terminations.
ASAPs, right?
Yeah. They're called in the official medical record, in our surgical requisition forms that they give us that come with the specimen, it's written ASAP. And I'm like, ASAP? Why would you call ASAP? What does that mean?
The abortion procedure is an ASAP. In other words, the pathologist gets it, it's labeled ASAP.
Here's how it means: acute situational anxiety of pregnancy. That's how they write. That's how it's billed. That's how, I need to check the ICD-10 codes. That's how we do billing for insurance. I actually,
But another pathologist would know what that means, right?
Yeah. Actually, no, it's just, it'll be elective termination. That's what it's coded under. But in our hospital, in our medical system, it's officially written ASAP. And it's just how...
Get this done as soon as possible, right? The girl no reason to do it. She wanted it done. Let's get this thing done ASAP.
Yeah. So then after sometimes we put tissue in cassettes, and then those get processed so that we can look at them under the microscope, especially if we think there's any pathology. But if it's just an ASAP, you're just supposed to gross it. You're supposed to look at it grossly only. You're not supposed to really make any microscope slides unless there's no fetal parts, unless it's just placenta, and then you put some of that on a slide so you can say that there really was placenta there, that it really was a pregnancy. But otherwise, you put all the baby back in the bucket, you fill it with formalin, and then for 30 days we keep them in a cabinet. So every day when I go in there to gross, we have our you put a little red dot on it because we keep them longer. We keep them...
Why do they keep them?
Just in case. Sometimes they have to sign a release form if they want the body parts back or if they want the hospital to dispose of it, and so they keep them a little bit longer than the other specimens. But then after 30 days, they clean out the cabinets and they dispose of them as medical waste. So,
folks, share this right now. If you're watching this Facebook Live, share it. Right, just hit share, and it'll go to your feed, and others will be able to watch it. So they've lied to us in the medical field.
Well,
First of all, it ain't a blob of tissue.
Well, if a doctor is telling the mother that they know, they're taught or they're taught the developmental stage. They should know. I don't know if doctors are lying to patients. I never see that end of it. But
the doctors are playing along with the lie, right?
Yeah,
Somebody
yeah,
somewhere is telling
yeah,
it's just
yeah.
a blob of tissue, right?
Yeah.
Hey doctor, I can see a woman sitting before the doctor, and they'd be saying,
and
"Will it feel pain? Does it have all that
that's
stuff?"
BS. That's BS. Yeah, no, the nervous system's developed at the same time as organogenesis. No.
All based on lies. So let's.
Based on manipulation, based on deception. I certainly think our society has been brainwashed and programmed to accept this and think this is okay when it's really, I mean, and when you study who was pushing it, who pushed this movement, and that they really believe that this is a sacrifice to Moloch, then oh my goodness.
Folks, I don't know if you just got what she just said.
It's a sacrifice to Moloch.
It's a sacrifice to Moloch. They know that it is. They know that it is sacrificing these precious little unborn babies to the god of Moloch.
Well, I mean, none of my colleagues know that.
No,
but the
you
people
know that.
Yeah, I know it.
And people involved in the industry, they certainly know it.
I would say the
As an
people that
atheist,
passed,
you knew something wasn't right about this whole thing, right? I mean,
yeah,
you don't have to be a Christian to look and say, this is a baby. They just pulled this little baby apart, right?
yeah.
And so this begins to lead to your journey to Christ.
It does. It does. Well, that would take a long time to get down that road.
Yeah.
But that played a huge part, and that opens up more toward the conspiracy angle of learning about Pedogate and learning about all of that. And as soon as I discovered that and going, oh my goodness, they really see it as a sacrifice to Moloch. They've really brainwashed society this much. That opened. Why do they believe? At first, I couldn't believe that people actually. I didn't even think evil was real.
But evil led you to good, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
You began to look at those abortions and say,
like,
this is evil.
It is
and there isn't
evil.
supposed to be anything like evil in your mind.
And, well, so, how do I want to phrase this?
You're doing great, by the way. You're doing great.
Thanks. So Pedogate comes out. I learn about satanic ritual abuse. I learn about sacrifices. I learn about the people behind pushing Roe versus Wade. I learn about the deception within our own government. And I mean, you're talking about the Rockefellers, you're talking about other people like it. I'm horrified. I learned that they
dug
really,
deeper.
I dug much deeper. I got myself red pilled, black pilled, whatever you want to call it. But I was like, why? They're really sacrificing these babies to these gods that they really believe in. I'm like, what? They really think they get some occult power out of it. And I'm like, they really believe it, but I didn't think it existed. I'm like, did they brainwash me? Did they brainwash all of society they got to the kids, and they're telling them atheism and science is, they brainwashed me. They are trying to make...
They brainwashed the doctor.
Well, they brainwash our whole generation.
Amen.
They brainwash the
But
children.
you guys are at the top of it. You're the smart ones. You're the doctors.
Oh, yeah, I was a total elite, arrogant, I know everything, Christians are stupid mentality at that time. And I was brainwashed. But then that road led down... I don't know how long you have, but
Just
how
go,
the,
sister, go.
Okay, so I'm learning about all these horrific things that the occult is doing, and I'm so angry. I'm trying to spread awareness about Pedogate and about the occult to as many physicians as I can.
Because you know it's real.
I know it's real.
The facts about pedogate and all that, maybe there's some mistruths in it, but you know this process of sacrificing children is real.
Yeah. And the physicians, when you get in these online, we have these online secret physician groups that have, I mean, there's members in the thousands. So you have an audience of other docs that you talk to about this. And they don't know what goes on. If you're not an OB, if you're not performing abortions, they don't see it. If you're not a pathologist and you receive the specimens, you don't know. Like, I would tell them when I was on the gyne service, when I received these babies in buckets, I mean, they had no idea. They would start crying as I would tell them what I have to do. They're like, oh my God. They were like, I can't do that. How could anyone do that? And I'm like, I didn't even know I'd have to do it. And then you talk to the older pathologists and they're like, oh, it's the darkest days of having to do that stuff. Just horrific having to see. So, you're educating people within the medical community too, that I have to deal with this.
So why doesn't medical science speak out against this? First, do no harm. Isn't that?
Oh,
Wasn't that the Hippocratic Oath? First,
well,
do no harm.
We're all so compartmentalized and we're all so busy on our little hamster wheels, and we're all, you don't want to get fired. You don't want to make waves. If this gets out and gets back to my hospital, I mean, I'm still a resident doctor. I'm going to have to be hired in a job somewhere, and they're going to see this and they're going to be like, oh, we do not want a lawsuit. We do not want, we don't want anyone coming in and causing trouble, and then you worry about the future of your career. You work so hard to rise to the top and
go along to get along, right?
Yeah,
Don't make
so
waves.
you
Conform to the world.
Yeah.
Those you watch my show, I talk about being transformed rather than conformed, because the world, the medical, everybody wants to conform you into a box. Same language, same reaction.
Oh yeah. And so, I mean, people need to know this. People.
So, Doc, just a couple minutes. I want you to look into this.
That one right
I've
there.
got this one here and I've got this one there. I don't care which one. Let's go with this one here right now. And you look into that and you tell them, how big is that little baby? You tell them what happens.
So my state, we're supposed to be able to go up to 24 weeks that abortions are allowed. A 24-weeker will be about that big, that big. I mean, if you're dealing with 8 weeks, I mean, it's like
bigger than a puppy.
That big, but it's a little baby. It's a little arm and limbs that you see right there. And it's just.
They're lying to us.
Is Planned Parenthood the only place that
Oh, no.
abortions are performed?
No. Like the medical school where I trained, they're also called products of conception. That's the other term that
that's
they
nice.
use, products of conception. And they'll label, I mean, that's also for like a retained placenta that they have to evacuate. The operation that they generally call, it's called a D&C, a dilation and curettage, where they dilate the cervix and curette everything out, and then they murder the baby and then suck it out and put it in the bucket. But
why do you have to catalog it? They've killed the baby, throw it in a bucket, flush it down the toilet. Why do you have to catalog it?
That's what I didn't understand. I'm like, is this just an extra charge that they do? Is this just something to put on the paperwork? Because the OR nurse that's doing the abortion, I mean, the doctors themselves will look at what they have and they'll see, do I have it all? But then it comes down to me, and it just for documented record, I guess I'm the independent person that says this is what I see.
In case something happens to the woman later on.
Yeah, like if she has retained products of conception and gets an infection, it's but I mean, most of the time, because it's so chopped up, I mean, usually I see all the limbs.
You told me yesterday you actually see little ovaries.
Oh yeah, you get the ovaries.
Do you understand this, folks? That's how developed this little baby is.
Well, so the genitalia, I forget. It's like after, this is getting into the science of it, but you have the same primordial external genitalia that once the Y chromosome kicks in, it's called the SRY gene. SRY gene, it produces testosterone, and then that causes either the male external genitalia to form, or if it doesn't kick in, then the baby develops into a female. So the primordial genitalia look the same until it's like 6 weeks that the SRY gene starts to kick on, but around 13 weeks or so, I believe, is, don't quote me on that, I have to go back and research, but I know past 18 weeks.
It's a boy and a girl.
Yeah, by 18 weeks, I definitely can tell you whether it's a boy or a girl, but usually it's so mutilated, sometimes you can't tell. But I would say 15 weeks maybe is when I can start. But I also, thank goodness it's been a while. It's, because I complain so much, the people are, they see me crying, that the people that have done scheduling they only made me do 2 weeks this past year. So
folks, listen, we're going to cut it off here. Here's what I want you to do. Share this, okay? Share this, because we know that we're in a media war. We're in a war for truth, right? And so I did this live Facebook. We didn't do a great production here. It's on my phone. We did this live broadcast because get it out there. Before they try to censor it, get it out there. Send this to your pro-choice friends. Send this to people in your family who don't understand. Say, look, this doc is the one who measures the little feet and measures the arms and makes sure that the hearts, make sure that all the body parts are there after it's done. And it ain't a frog. It isn't a puppy. It's a human being made in the image of God. And we're told lies about it every day. Anything else, Doc? You did a great job.
oh, thanks.
More to talk about. Testimony about how she came to Christ all day.
Go to your hospitals, walk around them, pray, ask for remittance of the innocent blood that's spilled on those hospitals. Because any academic medical center, it's going to be going on. It's not just Planned Parenthood. It's not just separate clinics. They need an OR for a DNC. You've got to have anesthesia. You've got to have a surgery set up for it. So yeah, surgical centers.
Little human beings created in the image of God. Share this with everybody, will you? Thanks. God bless.